Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more English story. Who are you? I was sitting alone in the quiet corner of a cafe, staring at the steam rising from my untouched cup of coffee. The question had been circling in my mind for weeks now. Who are you? It wasn't a question someone had asked me. It was one I couldn't stop asking myself. For years, I had lived my life by following what others expected of me. Good grades, a stable job, picture-perfect life. On the surface, everything seemed fine. But beneath the polished exterior, I felt like a stranger in my own story. That morning, I decided it was time to find out who I really was. Step 1. Strip away the masks. I opened my notebook and began listing all the roles I played. Daughter, employee, friend, neighbor. The list went on and on, each title feeling heavier than the last. Then I asked myself, if you weren't any of these things, what would be left? First, I couldn't answer. My identity had always been tied to what I did for others, to what society deemed important. But then, a small thought emerged. What if who I am has nothing to do with what I do? Step 2. Listen to the whisper. I closed my eyes and tried to remember a time when I felt truly alive, free from expectations. A memory surfaced. A day when I had spent hours painting as a child, completely lost in the joy of creating. When was the last time I felt like that? The answer startled me. Years ago. That afternoon, I went to an art store, bought a blank canvas, and some paint. First, my brushstrokes were hesitant, self-conscious. But as I let go of perfection, something shifted. For the first time in years, I wasn't worried about who I was supposed to be. I was just me. Step 3. Walk the path. Rediscovering that piece of myself was only the beginning. I started exploring other things that made me feel alive. Reading books I loved, walking in nature, learning to play the guitar. But the real challenge came when I had to face the world again. People noticed the changes. Some were supportive, but others questioned me. Why are you spending so much time on this? They asked, as if finding joy in life needed justification. Their doubts didn't matter anymore. For the first time, I was answering to myself, not to others. The turning point. One day, a friend I hadn't seen in years asked me, "You seem different, happier. What changed?" I smiled and replied, "I stopped trying to be who the world wanted me to be and started being myself." She paused for a moment, then said, "I wish I could do that." It was in that moment I realized how many of us are wandering through life without ever truly knowing ourselves. A message for you. If you're reading this and feel lost, ask yourself the same question I did. Who are you? Not your job, not your roles, not your achievements. Who are you at your core? The answer won't come all at once, and that's okay. Start small. Listen to what brings you joy, and let go of what doesn't. Because the most important journey you'll ever take is the one that leads you back to yourself. Who are you? It's time to find out. The journey of discovering myself wasn't smooth or linear. It came with moments of doubt and days where I questioned if this search for authenticity was worth it. But the breakthroughs always came when I least expected them. Unlearning and letting go. One afternoon, while cleaning my apartment, I stumbled across a dusty photo album filled with snapshots from my teenage years. There I was, smiling awkwardly at school events, family dinners, and trips with friends. But as I looked closer, I noticed something unsettling. In every picture, I seemed to be mimicking the people around me. My posture, my expressions, even my style, hit me like a wave. I had spent so much of my life trying to fit in that I had never learned how to stand out as me. That realization was freeing but also terrifying. Who was I beneath the layers of mimicry and conformity? To answer that, I needed to unlearn the habits and beliefs that weren't truly mine. So, I began saying no to things I didn't enjoy, even if it disappointed others. I let go of commitments that felt forced. It wasn't easy, but with every decision, I felt a little lighter, a little more in control of my life. The mirror moment. One evening, I stood in front of my bathroom mirror and asked myself out loud, if no one was watching, who would you be? The question lingered in the air, and my reflection seemed to stare back, urging me to answer honestly. For the first time, I admitted things I had buried deep within. I didn't want to climb the corporate ladder. I wanted to start my own business. I didn't enjoy crowded parties. I cherished quiet moments with a good book or close friends. I didn't want to impress people, I wanted to inspire them. These truths weren't revolutionary, but they were mine. Embracing the unfinished canvas. The next step was learning to accept myself, not the polished, perfect version I showed the world, but the raw, flawed, and evolving person I truly was. I took risks I never would have before. I joined a local artist group to share my paintings, even though I felt like a novice. I started journaling publicly, sharing my journey online, and connecting with others who were also trying to rediscover themselves. To my surprise, people resonated with my story. Messages poured in. Thank you for being real. This is exactly how I feel. I realized that being vulnerable wasn't a weakness. It was a bridge that connected me to others. A new beginning. Months later, I woke up to a day that felt ordinary but wasn't. I had crossed an invisible threshold. I no longer needed to prove anything to anyone, not even to myself. The question, who are you? No longer haunted me. Instead, it became my compass, guiding me toward choices that felt true to my heart. I wasn't finished. I would never be finished. But that was the beauty of it. Life wasn't about arriving at a destination. It was about becoming. about growing, about learning who you are in every moment. An invitation. If you're asking yourself, who am I? Know this. It's okay not to have all the answers. The journey to yourself isn't about perfection. It's about exploration. Start small. Ask questions. Take risks. Unlearn what doesn't feel true. And embrace what does. Because the greatest adventure in life isn't out there. It's within you. Who are you? The world doesn't need another copy. It needs you. Moral of the story. The journey to self-discovery is not about fitting into a mold set by others. It's about embracing who you truly are beneath the roles and expectations. The key to living authentically is to unlearn the false narratives you've been told and to embrace your true self, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Remember, life is not about perfection or reaching a final destination. It's about growth, exploration, and becoming more in tune with your inner truth. The greatest gift you can give yourself is the freedom to be who you are. I'm so glad you spent this time with me. If you liked the story, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Take care, and see you next time.